So, yes, this is X-Men Forex Uganda. So last time we discussed about the validation and invalidation. So I want to always keep in mind that price is always attracted by liquidity, and we are going to always use it for entry and exit. This is not smart money. This is not ICT. Forget those things. But I'm going to take you a little bit of a throwback for those who don't know what liquidity is. Liquidity, all you can say is where we find stop orders or limit orders. That's why you find liquidity and areas of liquidity. I sure most people, they always discuss, okay, when price is buying, price is getting high highs, higher lows. Yes, high highs, higher lows. These higher highs are liquidity. This is liquidity. This is liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. Even in a bearish market, we find their liquidity. These lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. All these levels, we find liquidity. Any high, any low is liquidity. Any lower low, lower high is liquidity. Even in a ranging market, we always find there liquidity on the ranging situations or consolidation markets. Sorry, or consolidation trends. Equal highs, equal lows, all those are liquidity areas. But you're going to come up with a new concept that you shall always use every day to find out how do we know that liquidity is being engineered. What do I mean by liquidity engineering? So if you don't know about liquidity, I've just discussed it. Highs and lows are liquidity areas. Even a ranging market is a liquidity area. Or we find equal highs, equal lows, those are liquidity areas. So without wasting time, let me explain about liquidity engineering. Now, when it comes to liquidity engineering, most of us are being told the traditional way of that if you find support or resistance, we have to sell. So assume price has been buying. So this is how liquidity engineering is produced. So when price reaches the resistance or a support, as shown how price has been buying. So most of us will place in sell orders or sell limits here. When you place in sell limits, other people even will place in sell stops because they believe now, because I've seen price has broken below. So when they place in sell stop, even sometimes may not break below, but they place sell stops on that low because they believe it's going to break. Then this happens, then finally comes price shoots up, kicks out the sell stops that are resting here, and you find some people now they have seen a strong bullish candle coming up. Now they're placing here buy stops. As now a bearish candle is coming in as a retracement, then it sells. So what is that? And that's how if you observe, that's how supply and demand candles are produced. You can't produce a supply and demand candle without sweeping both sides. So for those who understand, can understand what I'm trying to mean. So price was creating high highs, high lows, high highs. When you approach a resistance, they are going to kick out the sell limits which are being placed here because they'll give you some pips. Then people placing sell stops. When people placing sell stop, price will sell. Then from that, it will come and take out this level. Now, when it takes out this level, this is what happens. People place here buy stops because they believe it's going to continue high. Unfortunately, this happens. Then price sells. So when price sells, now it kicks out both sellers and buyers. This is what we call liquidity engineering. Liquidity engineering. And where is our validation? Here on top. And this validation, we shall call it the furthermost deviation now. So we are going to have new terms. So when price comes back to this last second high here, which we had broken, remember this was a higher high, higher high. So the last second high that we created, this is the last high we created. Now this is the second last, third last. So this was the high that we took out, then price took out the sellers. So when price comes back here, this is where we sell from. And now you're going to have a new name for this second last high. We shall call it the OTR, which we shall mean as the overthrow. The overthrow. This, we shall call it the overthrow. I'm trying to explain what liquidity engineering is. This whereby we tend to sweep both buyers and sellers on resistance and support levels. Simple. That's how I can explain it. While we see both sellers, so this place we shall call it an overthrow. This is where we enter from. It's like a QM. Now here on top we shall call it the furthermost deviation, FMD. FMD, furthermost deviation. Further, not the word further, but something far away. Furthermost deviation. Why do we call it deviation? Because price is diverting. Deviation, FMD. So when you're labeling your charts, I'm not sure how to be able to place tools on your side of your trading view so that you can be able to just place it over 3MD. Then after that, now we know price will come and sell. This is what we call engineering liquidity, because price sweeps both the buyers resting here on top who are taking buy stops and sellers who are taking sell stops. Then price kicks them out. You know, at the same time, then for us to enter from here. And if you observe, it's a QM, and we're going to look at those types of engineering liquidity or liquidity engineering. But for those who don't know about liquidity, I've just discussed it. Liquidity is an area where you see highs and lows, all those are liquidity. For price to be able to take out this high, price has to come back and take out liquidity for all the buyers resting there, then it will continue. So if you observe, most times you shall have your buy stops, buy limits for people. Buy stops, buy limits, because they believe price is going to go high. So people are waiting for that momentum to activate their buy stops and price goes. So now here becomes a tricky part when it comes to resistance. And now for us, most times we enter here or sometimes we enter here. If we shall look in future that most times we shall find ourselves entering here almost like a sniper, because we shall be entering sometimes on the left of the old invalidation level. After refining our key areas, we always enter there. If you don't enter from there, then you can wait for this to happen, the liquidity engine, and then you take an entry on the left. And this is how supply and demand zones are produced. We shall see in future, and you'll be so shocked. We shall look at examples of this. So let's first look at the types of liquidity engineering. Then we can be able to go to the charts to look for this. But this is so common. So if you observe, it's the same as a QM. As a QM. As a QM. Supply and demand, they call it a QM. For us, we call it liquidity engineering, but it's all the same. Some people may call it a change of character. Change of character is a little bit lower because you find the shoulder of this is like this. Change of character. Sometimes change of characters are like this. But for us, we don't mind about this. For us, we mind about this. Price has to come back and touch the OTR. We shall call it the overthrow. You label it as OTR, the overthrow. We just put OTR. In validation, you put IV. Then validation, you call it V. So I hope you're getting, but don't worry, we shall arrange all these things in chronological order. Then we can be able to continue with our nice sessions. So let's go through the types, the next video. Thank you.